Alright, once again, we're trying it this way, where the iPad is facing towards me so that you can see me normally without my mirror reflection. This is my left side, okay? I wanted to respond to Eric, IraqVeteran8888. He was talking about, can you carry a gun in a gun-free zone? And there's one point I will say that I disagree with. Keep in mind that Eric and I live in different states, and a lot of times the officials in said states may differ on how to enforce the law. You'll see about that in a minute. Can you carry a gun in a gun-free zone? Okay. First and foremost, the private sector, like a restaurant, a bar, a store, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Even though we have a Second Amendment, the owner, manager, security, they have the right to say, no, we don't want you to have a gun. Okay? So they have a right to say, we don't want you here. Now, they can't tell you to leave because of your color, your religion, or your sexual orientation. But if they don't want any guns on their premises, they can tell you to leave. Now, my question is, how did they find your gun? Was it concealed? Because maybe you had a wardrobe malfunction, or maybe you don't know how to carry for shit, and they saw the gun. Now, theoretically, the minute they see the gun, they can say, this is a gun-free zone, please leave. Yes, I know criminals prefer gun-free zones, blah, 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 blah. But they can tell you to leave. Now, if you live in a state that allows the open carry of a firearm, all they can say is leave. But if you live in a state that does not allow open carry, it only allows concealed carry, thank you, Supreme Court, and they see the gun, they can ask you to leave. But if they really want to be dicks about it, they can call the police because your gun is visible. If your state does not allow open carry, you can only open carry at your own home, your friend's home with their permission, of course, the gun store, and the gun range. If you're literally anywhere else can open carrying, it could be considered brandishing. It could be considered causing false alarm, okay? And they can call the police and say, listen, we don't want guns in our store, but that guy's gun is openly exposed, and then it's bulging out of your pants or whatever. You're printing, you know the deal. Now, most of the time, the cops will be like, okay, fine. They'll come in, they'll tell you, listen, bro, assuming you're still there. Listen, they don't want you in the store because they don't like guns. Just go home. Just go home and learn how to conceal carry. That's a problem right there. You have the gun fucking bulging out of your pants, whatever. It doesn't look good. Just learn how to conceal carry better. Go home. But some police departments or individual officers that really want to enforce the law, they can actually arrest you because your gun is being seen. Okay? Unless you are literally a police officer, you can actually be arrested for having your gun exposed. And that might be a write-up, it might be a community service, it might be just go to the police headquarters and get released immediately. It might be the judge might say, listen, I'm going to revoke your concealed carry for 6 months. I don't know. It depends what state you live in, what judge you get, what cop you get. But it doesn't look good when your gun is exposed. Now, police officers, most states, including my state, allow an off-duty police officer to carry their firearm. And believe it or not, in my home state, an off-duty police officer can legally carry his firearm without showing his shield. But every individual department has told their officers, if you're wearing civilian clothing and your gun is exposed, you must have your shield. So if you're a police officer and your gun is exposed, they can't arrest you. But they can send a referral to your department and your commissioner or sheriff can write you up for that. You violated company policy, department policy rather. Now, let's branch off to public sector carrying of guns. When the Supreme Court first decided the concealed carry was in the Constitution, several guys in my home county, this is in the news, went to the county airport with their guns concealed. And I think a couple of them were actually trying to get on the plane with their guns concealed. I'm not sure, but I know they were at the county airport with the guns concealed. And the security there told them point blank, of county police and TSA security, they told them point blank, just go home. Just go home. You can't have your gun at the airport. Unless you're an off-duty cop, you can't bring your gun to the airport. And unless you're a federal agent, you can't carry a gun on the plane. They could have gotten in a shitload of trouble, because they could have been sent to county court and or federal court. Okay, carrying a gun at a federally controlled facility is a federal crime. Okay, and Eric gave an example of a lot of rural post offices turn a blind eye when you carry a gun. Like if you're in a post office in the middle of nowhere. And the judge did rule a while ago that you should have a right to carry a gun in a post office. I don't know if it's a appeal or not. But here's the issue with that. By law, only a federal agent can carry a gun in a federal building, like a post office. And if we have like a police officer that is going to federal court because he arrested a guy and the guy had committed a federal crime. So he arrested the guy, gave the guy to the FBI, but the court wants to see him. So you have a city police officer going to a federal courthouse for whatever reason. The marshal in charge of security at the federal courthouse can tell the officer, you're a cop, fine, bring your gun inside, we don't care. Or you can tell the officer, officer, you're here to testify in the bank robbery? Yeah, okay. Give me your gun, I'll keep it in my office. You can't bring a gun upstairs because you're not a federal agent. Or if you're a cop and you bring a gun to the post office, there's an understanding that cops are armed 24 hours a day. And there's an understanding that you was a cop bringing a gun to the post office. That's fine. But if they choose to enforce the law and you carry a gun in a federal building, you are fucked. Because that is a federal charge, and you don't want that. Okay? And it's the truth. I would say leave it in the car or leave it home that day. Now, Eric also gave the example of going to schools with guns. In my home state, you can carry a gun in school if you are a police officer, on duty or off duty, or if you have permission from the school. Now, that means public school, school superintendent, college president. And one of my college professors, the curriculum chair at my community college, he was offered a campus carry license by the college president, but he turned it down. Told me it was crazy. He's a retired detective. My terrorism professor, that same semester, Monday night, I think it was. No, Wednesday night. In the same classroom, as a matter of fact. He carried a J-frame revolver. He was a retired lieutenant colonel, and he had a special practice with the county police. He was in charge of airport security and in charge of terrorism response. He had a special job. He was, by definition, a county police officer, carrying a gun on campus. Other cases may be if you're a celebrity, your bodyguard may carry a gun on campus. Maybe because you're a celebrity, the college president says, wow, a celebrity's coming to my college. Or maybe if you're a celebrity or a celebrity's kid, you go to college and you or your father donates a lot of money to the college president will give them a campus carry license. Without the campus carry letter, you can be arrested. Now, if you are driving to the school to pick up your kid, drop off your kid, and you have a gun in the car or on your person, I strongly advise you, do not go on to the property. Do not. Drop your kid off at school, and that's it. If the principal or someone is there and they say, hey, we want to talk to you for a minute, say, okay, I am a licensed carry permit holder. I am carrying a weapon. I cannot come onto the property. Come to me and talk here. Or have your security guard stand over the car. I'll lock the gun in the car, and then I'll come inside. Or I'll go home, drop the gun off, and come back later. And don't even go into the parking lot with it. If you drive into the parking lot with a gun in the car, someone could argue the gun is on campus. Do not do it. And I know the old saying, back in the 70s, a lot of guys brought their hunting rifle, left it in the trunk of their car, and went hunting on Friday night. That was 50 years ago. I know that Justice Scalia carried a .22 rifle to school. He was on the shooting team. I know that. That was longer than that. Now, my school had a rifle team. They met at the city gun range. The city allowed them to shoot for free. The U.S. Army donated targets, bullets, and the rifles themselves. The coach of the team was one of the carpentry teachers. He taught from 62 to 89, which meant he was at the old campus and the new campus. He was Army Pacific Theater, Silver Star Okinawa. That's why he got out of the shift in the Army. His cousin taught at school from 65 to 91. He was Army career. Okay? But even then, the rifle team had to meet off campus. And I think when he retired, they discontinued it because I didn't get it when I was in school. I came to school 1996 to 2000. Okay? You don't want to make a mistake and find out the hard way. Do I agree with everything these laws say? No, I don't. I'll tell you that right now. I personally don't think there's a problem with the father driving onto the campus, dropping his kid off. But I'm not the judge, I'm not the DA, I'm not the grand jury. Okay? If you have a community where, you live in a very small community and everybody knows everybody, and your kids hang out with the DA's kids, your kids hang out with the sheriff's kids, the judge comes to your house on weekends to barbecue with you, call him by his first name, it's probably not a big deal. But if you live in the wrong community and you're caught, you never know what might happen. You never know when it might bulge out. You never know when, the principal could walk up to your car and look and just say, hey, Mr. How are you, blah, 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 blah. And he could see a rifle on the back seat, unloaded in a case with, you never know. You never know. It's always best to assume one thing than to assume the other. It's always best to find out the easy way than the hard way. That's the truth. Thank you.